Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Hashtag Truth. I gotta say, I went old school with my intro because of who we got on here. I didn't want to do my new, the one that I worked so hard on because we got Jimmy two times, so many times. You got it. I don't know how he says
It's
it.
so nice you say it twice, you punk. And if my agent had told me that I was going to end up on hashtag goof with Scott larceny, I probably would have just taken the day off. I wouldn't have put on my good tie for Scott larceny and hashtag goof. Oh, somebody's getting a call over this one.
Well, I told you when I didn't know who your agent was. That person called and said, "Hey, I got somebody for your show." I thought they were going to give me somebody to invest in, but I got you. So hey,
yeah. I'll tell you, somebody to invest in is not Patrick Mahomes or Gardner Minshew. I'm just saying it out loud, Mister. Not going to make the playoffs again this year. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Anything else you want to say there? Hashtag goof.
I do have to say one more thing before we start the questions. The last time I saw you, it was awesome. It was beautiful. It was the most beautiful time I'd ever had at a wrestling show. I'm not going to lie. I got to put a strap to your back, and I know you were embarrassed, and I know I loved every minute of it. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah, that was back in May, and we were in some little redneck town in little redneck Western North Carolina. Let me tell you the best thing that ever happened to Western North Carolina. The best thing that ever happened to Western North Carolina was Hurricane Helene, because it blew through there and did $100 million worth of improvement to that trashy little part of the world. The best thing that could have happened is God could have taken that vacuum cleaner and sucked up all those mobile home parks and spit them back out over in Kentucky where they belong. My God, you people.
You ought to be ashamed, my man. I ain't gonna lie to you. We got Robert Brown. He said, "Welcome back, Brother Scott." Thank you, Robert. We got Jimmy two times here. He
Good
said,
to see you, Robert.
"Get him, Jimmy. I like you already. Keep it up."
Well, you know it. You know how these rednecks are. The jacked up trucks driving, meth making, disability faking. That's all Western North Carolina. That's why I'm in the Golden State, the Mountain State, the Rocky Mountain State of Colorado, baby.
Okay, I got you. I got you, man. So tell me, Jimmy, what you been up to lately, man? I know the last time, like I said, when I put that strap to your back, you were talking about retirement. Have you gone into full-blown retirement? Are you just laying back having a good time? What's going on in Jimmy Two Times life right now?
Jimmy Two Times is a star. It doesn't matter what I do or where I do it. Jimmy Two Times is a star. And right now, old Junk and a Dog is on. I know that guy, Jason Patton. Jimmy Two Times is a star. And it doesn't matter what I'm doing. So I may have a YouTube channel. I may have a television show. I may have an OnlyFans page. You don't know. But I'll tell you this, Jimmy Two Times is a star. And wherever I go, I am the main attraction. And you, Scott Larson, you got lucky. You got to last Jimmy two times, three times in the back. And anybody who hasn't seen those scars need to go back and look at your page, because there's a picture of the scars on my back from that match. There's no reason I should have lost that match. It was you who interfered. I'm not sure how you did it. I'm not sure why you did it. But Jimmy two times, so nice you say it twice, is the real deal. I'll punch you like I'll break your jaw like Josh Logan.
I love it. Robert said he likes the name Jimmy Two Times. So why don't we go ahead and ask how'd you come up with Jimmy Two Times, man? What? How'd you come up with your name, Jimmy Two? Why do they call you Jimmy Two Times, man?
Well, Jimmy Two Times, when he was a younger man, all the ladies came up with that nickname. They called him Jimmy Two Times. So nice he could do it twice. Now I'm not going to tell you what it was, but that's what Jimmy Two Times could do. And I mean, bam, bam. I don't mean bam, bam. I mean bam, bam. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy Two Times, so nice. He does it twice. Now, that name just stuck. It just stuck like glue. And I've been Jimmy Two Times for 20 years.
That's the hush hush talk.
That's the hush hush talk. Earmuffs, kids. All right. That's how I got the name Jimmy Two Times, Robert.
You don't want to go out in that Las Vegas desert and go to digging. I'm just saying that's the hush hush talk.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea.
Exactly. So let me ask you, man, Jimmy Two Times. Now you have got man, you've been all over and you've done everything in professional wrestling. Uh, Managed, you've wrestled, and we're going to talk about a little ownership later on. But
Mm-hmm.
talk to me about what is the biggest difference between in-ring wrestling and being a manager. Now I know a manager is just as important. I'm not going to argue with nobody, but tell me what's the biggest difference between the two?
You know, being an in-ring talent, and I've been in-ring talent for over 30 years, but I've managed some of the top guys in the business. You know, I've been on the sidelines at the ringside for Ricky and Robert. I've been on the sidelines for the Assassins. I've been on the sidelines for the Moondogs. I've worked with all those guys in my career. And one of the most important things about a manager is you got to hype your people. I do what Scott Larson does, only I do it much better. I hype my talent. I bring them to the forefront, and I make sure that they had every unfair advantage known to mankind. Because Jimmy Two Times will slide you a chain. Jimmy Two Times will slide you a foreign object. I'll load up the boat. I'll do whatever it takes to make sure that my guys win. That's what being a manager is all about. Now, being a performer, being an in-ring talent, there's nobody better than Jimmy Two Times. Never has been. I got the talkie and I got the walkie. Now, you and I have a long history. You've seen me win a lot of matches. You've seen me lose 1 or 2 or 10 or 30. Doesn't matter. Jimmy Two Times is no jabroni, but Jimmy Two Times will always make the babyface look like $1,000,000 no matter who he's working. So Jimmy Two Times, so nice you say it twice, loves being an in-ring performer, loves being a manager, loves being a promoter, loves being an owner, but more than anything, he loves being the antithesis, the opposite of whatever Scott Larson is.
That is definitely true. And I'm going to tell you, my favorite memory of you, of course, will always be me putting the slashes on your back. I ain't gonna lie. My second favorite memory of mine for you, Mr. Jimmy Two Times, and let's talk a little bit about the Haliatsko knockout punch as you got laid out by a Miss Yatsko in the middle of the ring, just wham yow, and you went down like a board.
You know, I had no idea, number one, that she could hit so hard. And I had no idea that I had a glass jaw until that night. She did drop me like a bad habit. She spanked me like a 4-year-old at Walmart.
I almost pulled that video to play it, but I didn't. I didn't want to.
She did knock me out, but let's be fair. 2 years in a row, who managed the winner of the Haliatsko? Who managed Braden Marshall when he won the Haliatsko? Right here. Who managed Prince, Christopher Prince, when they won the Haliatsko? This guy managed it. And that's the year she knocked me out. And I'm sure her hand still hurts. And I'm sure reffing Gene Perry is still a little jealous because she got to lay her hand all over my face. I bet she still hasn't washed that hand.
And how many times did Scott Larson cry when that happened? Twice.
Scott Larson cries a lot. You know, Scott Larson is old yeller. You know, he cries just thinking about sad things. And when Jimmy Two Times gets slapped, you were crying, but you were crying because you were laughing so hard. It doesn't matter.
Without a doubt. Now, Robert Brown here, man, he's one of my favorite. I've went away and come back so many times, but Robert Brown always has some cool questions. So if I skip you, I will get back to you, I promise, but we're going to get to Robert's questions because I love them. Robert wants to know, what kind of music do you like? And I know I know the next question after that.
Yeah, for me, music is Jimmy Two Times is a musician. Let's start there. I've got a band called the Whiskey Wranglers. We were on tour when Scott beat me with the belt. In fact, I almost couldn't play the show on Sunday after Scott beat me down. But so I like classic country music. Jimmy Two Times likes Willie, Waylon, Haggard, Hank, and Cash. Anything BG. And you know what BG is? Before Garth, because Garth Brooks killed country music. Anything BG.
You're killing me, Jimmy. You're killing me.
You are the only friend I have in low places. You're the only friend.
You're killing me, brother.
It's BG, baby. BG. Anything country BG.
One of my daughters, Brooke, after Garth Brooks.
and that's the reason that she's probably going to turn out to like bro country.
Oh
That's
my.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. She probably likes that bro country.
Well, do you like any rappers? Because his follow-up question is always, do you like Tupac?
I do like Tupac, but as far as real rap goes, I'm a Beastie Boys guy. The first rap album ever to sell 1 million copies was not Tupac. It was the Beastie Boys, Licensed to Ill, back in
Oh,
'87. So
Brass
I'm a
Monkey, man. Brass
Brass
Monkey.
Monkey, that funky monkey. Yeah, I love that. Absolutely. So I
Oh,
do like the Beastie Boys, and I like a little bit of Macklemore. So I like.
Jimmy
No,
Two
I
Times
don't
has
just like
got a
white
lot of, you
rappers.
got a right to fight.
I gotta fight for my right to party. You know what I'm saying? I will smack you like a 3-year-old. Jimmy Two Times will slap a baby. You know it's true.
Right. And he also wants to know, who was your favorite wrestler growing up?
My favorite wrestler growing up was superstar Bill Dundee. I grew up on Memphis wrestling, and Bill Dundee wasn't the biggest guy. When I was little, I wasn't the biggest guy either. But he would constantly lose or leave town, put his hair up. One time, Bill Dundee put his wife's hair up and against Lawler. Lawler beat him, and they shaved his wife's head in the
Oh
ring.
my gosh.
When you got your wife in this business under that much of your thumb, gotta love Bill Dundee. He got his wife to shave her head. So growing up, I was a huge Memphis guy, and Bill Dundee, the superstar. And later in his career, and sort of in the middle of mine, I got to work Bill on a whole series of USO gigs. And let me tell you, he was the most fun in the ring, super light, just a great guy to work.
I've been to the Southern Coliseum many times. I lived in a small town called Bethel Springs, Tennessee. That was like, you could throw a stone to Memphis.
Right.
And man, the one big match that I remembered, we weren't allowed to go in because that was the big match at the time, was when you named the two participants, when Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee did the empty arena match. Do you remember that?
Yes, very well. Yep.
Oh,
Lawler
that
was
my
famous
days
for
back
those.
then, boy.
Yeah, him and Terry Funk did an empty arena match that I
Yes,
still to
yeah.
this day love to go back occasionally on YouTube and watch. And those were just those are great rivalries. You can't beat. And then they would team up. 6 weeks later, and they would take the Southern Tag titles. But that's my era of wrestling, and those are the guys that I.
Right.
Robert, that's a great question. Thanks so much for asking it.
At toss a coin to your tech guy. I love the name.
All right, yeah.
He said only 2 times. Those are rookie numbers. You got to pump those numbers up.
Oh yeah.
So nice. You got to say it twice.
Yeah, kindness is free and tech is awesome. So when you toss your coin to, the thing about it is he couldn't toss a coin to anybody if he tried, if you know what I mean. That's all I'm going to say about him. And the best thing that he could do is go back to his public housing project, ask his grandmama who his real daddy is, and tell him to go pick up the government cheese because it's Saturday.
Brew Capone is in the house. I've got no comment for that. Robert Brown said, I don't mind baby faces, but the heels is where it's at for me. Well, you are looking at one of the best. I'm not going to lie.
That's right. The best thing about a baby face is, well, there's nothing good about a baby face. It's like women in professional wrestling. The best thing about women in professional wrestling is when they get Jimmy Two Times his hamburger and his French fries and bring him to him in the locker room. Women in professional wrestling are good for making babies, biscuits, and the Benjamins. That's what I'm saying about baby faces and women in professional wrestling.
You know how to get the heat, because man, I'm going to get 20 emails from women the second.
That's on you. Like women watch your show, like they're going, "Oh my God."
You made the mistake of giving me your email before this. I'm going to forward them right to you, sir.
You send them to Jimmy Two Times.
My God. William Melton said, hey, Scott Larson, good to see you back. No, good to see Jimmy 2 times back on here, brother. Get it right. Let's get it right, man. I'm never gonna go away. I'm like the plague, Just when they think they got you to go away and they gave you the right medicine, I come back. So that's the way I look at it, man. Old junk and a dog wants to know what's your drink of choice.
My drink of choice. I'm a whiskey man. So I am a Sinatra Select And that's good whiskey for all you idiots in Western North Carolina, because you all drink Kentucky Gentleman and think, good God, we getting the good stuff. It's $8 a fifth.
Oh
And, you
my
know,
God.
good stuff. Jack
You're
Daniel's
talking to
Sinatra
people
Select.
who are living around Jack country, brother. We Jack and
You wouldn't know Jack. You couldn't afford Jack if it came up and bit you in the backside.
oh,
Jimmy
come
Two
on.
Times likes his Sinatra Select. I like Baker's Single Barrel is a fine whiskey, and I just got a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle 25 that was given to me because I'm so good looking, and I like that when
Now
the
I'm going
mood
to tell
strikes
you.
me.
I'm going to tell you one of the things I miss, Jimmy, and this is a true fact, man. You used to do a show back in the day with your partner, and you guys used to come on and you guys used to do a little, just throw a couple back and talk wrestling. And that was one of the greatest shows, man. And
Keeping it heel with Jimmy Two Times, and Braden Marshall was my co-host on that show.
Yeah.
Shout out to Braden at USA Main Event. That was a lot of fun, and we did drink whiskey. And I'm going to tell you a quick story. One night, maybe the second time we ever did that show, we're on for about an hour. I think you were actually on as a guest. We had a lot of different call-ins during the show.
I called in, yes.
Yeah. So about 5 minutes before the show's over, Braden goes, "I'll be right back," and he runs over. He was not ready to try to keep up with Jimmy Two Times in the whiskey drinking. We had 14 or 15 shots in that hour.
Hey, let me tell y'all, and I'm not joking. They showed it on air. I can even go. I even know where the thing. These guys didn't bring. These guys, and let me finish. These guys didn't bring a bottle of whiskey. They had a box of like 15 bottles. I'm not even joking. They showed it on air. They were like, "Here, look." I'm not kidding. And they were pulling bottles out, and it was. You would
That's
think
the hashtag truth.
By the end of the show, they couldn't talk, but it was awesome. I mean, it was so much fun, and we talked wrestling. And if you were a drinker, you drank with them. I'm not a drinker, so I saluted with my teas and my Kool-Aids and sodas or whatever I had back then, and we had a good time, man. And that's what shows like that are should be about, man. And I wish people would bring shows like that back. I wish you'd bring something like that back, brother, because you are very talented behind a mic. And I know you're playing Jimmy Two Times. I know you're going to say something crazy back to me. But, brother, those are the shows that people remember, man. I remember a lot of those shows.
Right.
And it was just, having a good time. Nobody, nowadays you'd probably get, 15 people turn you in on Facebook because you got alcohol on the screen, and
right.
YouTube will shut you down because you got alcohol on the screen. It's just stupid stuff like that. But back then you could have fun, dude. And
you're exactly right. Those were better times. I'll tell you, Scott, and I do appreciate the compliment, but I'm going to throw one back at you here. My favorite show, and I just watched this the other night because, of course, I subscribe to your YouTube channel. But you've got a show, and I'm going to recommend everybody who's on here. Maybe this is your first time on Hashtag Truth. Go back and watch Scott Larson's interview with Jimmy Two Times, and then it was Luscious Lenny Lips.
Braden Marshall, Jimmy Two Times, and then the man came out that made me 3 shades of pink for 30 minutes. Oh my goodness! I can't remember the character's name. What is it?
Luscious Lenny Lips, 2 piece. Beep beep.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah, and I have a lot in common with Luscious Lenny Lips. He wears a mask and a thong and pasties. You should really go watch that episode when you get on here. Log on to Hashtag Truth.
To tell you though, of all the people that Jimmy, I got to tell you, my favorite guy that would come and wrestle for you all the time, and I loved him from one end to the other, and a lot of people didn't understand him, but I was one because I'm poor, is Walmart Wally. Walmart Wally was one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, and if you didn't know Walmart Wally, go look him up on YouTube. Go look him up.
Oh my God.
Google him, please. Walmart Wally. Oh my gosh.
Walmart Wally and his tag team partner, Mark Down Mark.
That's it.
Oh my God! I hadn't thought about Walmart Wally in years, Scott. Thanks for bringing that memory back. I have a whole lot in common with Walmart Wally too. He used to come out pushing a buggy, and he would throw out ice cream to the kids from Walmart. It'd be half melted. He didn't care. Yeah.
Robert Brown. There's a guy who was stalking me back in the day who was putting videos, sending me videos, and I still don't know who he is, Robert. And he keeps saying, see, I'm telling you, Robert don't forget nothing. Robert would be a good sidekick. I'm gonna have to get Robert on #Truth one of these days, man. But yes, his name was Walmart Wally. No joke, Robert. Great character, man. It was and this was back, and we affectionately call it this. Everybody, some people hated it, but that was back during the COVID dome days right. that I really got to see some of these characters that came out in those days back when COVID, and we saw all the and you know you had to come in with a mask and
yeah, you remember that? Yeah, that was because there was also the North Korean dragon who flung poo.
Yes.
Yeah, and his tag team partner Something Wong, and who flung poo. Those guys, they weren't right. I'm telling you. Had that big picture of Kim Jong Un on the back that says North Korea #1. Right. I have something in common with him too. But yeah, those man, 1,000 masks and a leg drop. Welcome to Jimmy Two Times World.
Linda Wade says, "Welcome back to #Truth." I am sitting here with
Jimmy Linda.
We are having a good time. Yes, I know you know Linda. Miss Linda.
I do.
Well known in wrestling.
Miss Linda, I'll tell you what. If my wife would give Jimmy Two Times, a freebie, I call Linda.
Now I'm going to tell Miss Linda something. If her ears were burning yesterday, me and my wife was talking at the table about some, wrestling and some people we know in wrestling, and how many people we got to know since I've been involved in #Truth. And Miss Linda came up, and my wife is like, some people take her wrong, and I'm like, no, I love her. She's straight up.
She'll straight up.
If she don't like you,
she'll tell you. Yeah, she will absolutely tell you. Yeah, I love it.
I love that. And I love people who are like that. Because, there are a lot of people out there, Jimmy Two Times, who are fake. And we know some of them. I ain't going to lie to you.
we know some of them collectively, but, Jimmy Two Times is not fake. This is who I am all the time, 24/7.
Yes. Barry Lee Babb. Hello, Barry. How you doing? Christian Durham saying, yo, how you doing, Christian? Welcome.
Christian, how you doing?
Y'all are crazy. No, we're not crazy. We're telling the truth.
Hey, Linda, you can't look as good as you are. Oh, Joey Godfrey. Jimmy Two Times Joey Godfrey is one of my favorite promoters in Western North Carolina, which is like being the fastest kid on the slow bus. But still, I do love Joey Godfrey. He has always been good to me, and that's the #Truth.
With the HWA fan club president.
I know the Heartworm Association, but I'm talking about Heritage Wrestling Alliance.
I got you. I got you. All right, let's see. Robert said, Jimmy Two Times the type of guy to slap someone Will Smith style. Yeah, I've seen it.
I will smack you so many times with my right hand that you'll beg me to smack you with my left. That's what Jimmy Two Times will do.
The only problem is, Robert, the referee never sees it. That's the only problem.
It's crazy. Blind eye, baby. Blind eye. Gene Reffin paid. Best blind eye in the business.
Oh, no doubt. I will say that a million times. Oh, my God. Bruce said Jimmy Two Times needs to meet Brew Capone. No, he don't. Jimmy Two Times would beat you up, man. I ain't gonna lie. Jimmy Two Times would put you. I'm just saying that.
You will have a brew stretcher match. I drink brews. I whip brews. At first I thought your name was Bruh, like a teenager calls it Bruh. Yeah, I don't have no time for no Bruh in my life. Christian, you are doing good. Linda, yes, he is. LOL.
You're talking about. He said, yes, he is. Okay. And Joey said, yes, I've been on that bus. Joey, you're the driver. What are you talking about?
Oh, Joey, you're one of a kind, my brother. Joey always asks me, he goes, what's your favorite professional wrestling promotion and why is it Heritage Wrestling Alliance? So, that's what I love about Joey.
Back in the day when the big old what was Boomer Payne's group back in the day? Unbookables.
The Unbookables, yeah.
All the time, man. Who is your favorite faction? Why is it the Unbookables?
Why is it the Unbookables? Yeah, we remember we worked a gimmick with them where they took our belts one time.
Right.
Jimmy, mother, Joey Godfrey's mom. Now let me tell you a little story about Joey Godfrey's mom that not even Joey knows.
Yeah.
there's a chance that I could be your father, Joey. I'm just going to say it out loud because we're all thinking it. I'm just saying it may be a. I realize that she's 83 and that you're my age, but I'm just saying she's a fine looking woman. And if I was right there now, I'd give her a big smack on the lips. And the last time I was in Western North Carolina, I did exactly that, whether she told you the truth about it or not.
And you're constantly walking around with 6 bottles of whiskey, so
That's right. It's Step Jimmy 2 times, Daddy. That's what you can call me, Step Jimmy 2 times, Daddy.
Hot toddy, Jimmy 2 times. Okay, we got you.
That's right.
Oh, Bruce said he'd slap you with the strong arm. Oh no, here we go.
But Brew, the next time I'm in Western North Carolina, let me stop right there because we all know I'm not coming back to Western North Carolina because it took me 6 months to get the smell off of me from May.
Dang.
And it was just at the beginning of December that I stopped smelling like, well, I guess it was the wind that blew all of you people away. I hated that for all of you. I saw the cars wrapped around the trees, and all I could think was, whew, you deserve that, you bunch of redneck pieces of trash. That's all I could think of. So Western North Carolina again. So glad that Hurricane Helene came in and did you guys right.
Robert's got the right question. He said, "Should we call Maury?"
You is the father. Yeah, there's a chance if your mom lived in Western North Carolina in the last 10 years, there's a chance that I'm your daddy.
Man, this time is flying. We're already 27 minutes in. We're going to go over 30. I can tell you, my back's feeling okay. We're going to go over 30 because I got a few more questions I want to ask.
Sure.
I want to talk, since we got Joey on here and a few others, we got Ben Wolf on here and a few others, man. We're going to talk ownership, man. And I want to ask Jimmy 2 times a few questions. And I want him to be honest with you. This is hashtag truth. And not everybody has the same answer. Not every owner has the same answer. And no answer is 100% right. But I'm going to ask this anyway at Jimmy 2 times, man. When you were running your program back in the day, you have since passed it on to a protege of yours.
Right. And you say Main Event Wrestling.
Yes. And we talked about him just a few minutes ago, and he's doing a great job. I will say that. But I had a question that I'd put on hashtag truth back before I started doing live shows again. And the question was, how much money would a person need let's just say if Scott Larson won the lottery, how much money would I need to, in your opinion, to do a professional wrestling show and do it right? And there's a part 2. What is doing it right? I want to hear all that from Jimmy 2 times.
I did run USA Main Event from the late 90s through just a few years ago, and did thousands and thousands of shows in that time. And the answer it was always like this: I needed 10 grand in my pocket to feel like I could run. Now, what does that mean? You guys, many of you have been to the USA Main Event studios when we had it there in Lincolnton. So it meant we had a 100-seat arena. We had lights, we had sound, we had good sound, good lights. We had the fire that shot up to the ceilings. We had all of the pyro. We had all of the lights. Plus we had all of the recording. We had 10 cameras, including the one that was directly over the top of the ring that fish-eyed down. So we had a really professional setup.
Don't forget the great commentary team.
We had an amazing commentary team. Jason and gosh, they're going to kill me.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, but they have a really good podcast out there too, and we had all that. We had the broadcast booth. We had the ramp that you came in on. So production was important to me, and we were running every week. So if you're going to run 4 shows a week or 4 shows a month, I felt like you needed 10 grand in your pocket at any given time because you never know what's going to hit. And then we did a 1 pay-per-view where we raised a little over 30 grand on a pay-per-view, and had no idea that we were going to have that kind of success. Biggest show we'd ever had. Not any real big stars on it. We had Lodi from WCW and a couple of other mid-card guys that they're in the business. But that's my opinion. Now, I know you could run a show a lot cheaper, and I like to feel like Ben Wolf is somebody that I mentored into this business a little bit. And I've worked on several of his See No Evil wrestling shows. I was this new heavyweight champion for a while.
Mhm.
And I think he runs a great show. So I think you can run a good show on a small budget. But I think to run a great show, you've got to have some money in your pocket, especially if you're going to run it week after week after week. But so my advice is have a little money in your pocket, set some expectations on, what's my venue going to be, what's my draw going to be, who am I going to pay your wrestlers. Nobody works for free.
Right.
I paid my sound. I paid my sound maven, and she was awesome. She did sound and lights for us, and I paid her the same thing that I
You
paid
also
my
had a
wrestlers.
video editor that after the shows were recording all that, he edited. I knew him personally. I still
Yeah,
know him personally.
yeah, I had all those pieces edited down. So and if you want to see any of this old stuff, it's on the USA Main Event Facebook page. There are hundreds of videos from Thursday Night Thunder to USA Main Event Wrestling to the pay-per-view on Fight TV. It's still on Fight TV, and that was called January Joyride. I think that was back in January of 20, just before COVID. It
Right.
seems like that was January Joyride. So
Now I'm gonna say this as a fan, and you ran your show this way. There's a few out there that run it this way. I wish everyone had the money to do it, and I understand it's the money part that stops this from happening. But I love the old school, like the way we watched it back in the 80s, man, when wrestlers were interviewed right after the match or right before the match and then
right,
walked out. And there are some companies out there. I'll throw a couple of names out there that I love to throw out there. Wrestling Evolution does a really great job with theirs.
yes, they do.
NAWA, man, Michael Elliott does a spectacular job over there with doing that. And to me, it's not just enough to record your matches and put them out on YouTube. It's always better to have a commentary team and
Absolutely.
and let people know what's going on, tell more of the story, get them more invested. You know what I'm saying? If that's all you can do, then that's cool, But it's always, reinvest. If you make any money off these shows, reinvest. And I hate to say it, there's not a lot of companies out there that do that. They don't
No,
reinvest. They make the money and then they turn around and do the same show, and it's the same amount of money, and it's a
right.
circle. And you know what I'm saying? And I'm
Yeah,
not down at anybody. This is not what I'm saying.
no, I get it.
What I'm
I
saying
get it.
is, for a fan, we want the WWE in our backyard is what we're looking for. And I'm not
That's
lying.
exactly right. You want that fan experience. You want to be able to go to a show and understand everything. If you've never seen another show by this company, you want to be able to hear the story from beginning to end during that show. But more importantly, you want that show to pack into all the other shows in that series so you can, you understand that. But I love what you're saying. Jason Finger and Mike Payne were the guys that were our announcers, and
Yes.
hats off to both of those guys. They did the interviews like you were talking about when when Mitch came out and he was taking on the party starter, Keith Mack and all those guys, and I could go
Right.
back through
Right.
hundreds of guys who've been at USA. My favorite USA Main Event heavyweight champion of all time was Tracy Smothers, the late great Tracy Smothers.
Oh
Was
man.
trained
All
by
right, Southern boys.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah, one of those good guys. So just
Mm.
the history goes back that far with USA Main Event. But to your point, if the best you can do, and that's good enough, is to run a show, you run a
Right.
quality show, and of course, you knew my shows were 100% family oriented. There was
Right.
no foul language. There was no scantily clad women. We just didn't do that. That wasn't. Those women were back in the dressing room being valets and fixing Jimmy two times a sandwich. But it was 100% family show, and that was
Cool.
important to me. And I still like to see that. You see that ACCW is one that I think does a good family show in your area. HWA, of course, has always done a fantastic show. So,
Right.
congratulations to Joey and all
Again,
those
I'm
guys.
not down in anyone. I'm just
No.
saying, if you can do it, and there's, some people, that it's the area where they're running the show. There's a lot of things that go into it, man. Give me from an owner's perspective, like the day of the show, what all you have to worry about. I know the list could be 100 miles long, but give me the main, things that you worried about when you were an owner back then that a fan might not realize, because they just have to buy the ticket, show up and watch.
Right. Talent are babies. There are too many egos in independent. This is not the WWE. You haven't made it, and you're on your way down. You've not done anything, and you think you're going to get top guy pay, and that you have to go over, and that you get 15 minutes for every match, and that you got to have your merch table at this. Talent are babies, and there are too many guys out there. And let me tell you, those worked for Jimmy two times once. Exactly once, and they were off the roster. I built my roster by the school.
I hate to interrupt you, but as a fan, if you don't promo for a company and you're on the card, you're on the poster, I lose respect for you. I just do as a fan.
Or share the poster on social media. It's simple. Go out and back in the 90s, we used to run posters, meaning there was no social media. You were the social media. You and a piece of tape, you put it up on a store window all over Monticello, Kentucky.
And if you were Harlan, you had a staple gun.
We didn't have that kind of money back then, but that wasn't Jimmy two times money. But you're exactly right. If you're on that card and you're not willing to cut it. Another thing is I hate guys who cut promos and then stick them on their Facebook page without running them by the owner, because there are some guys out there that are the drizzling snots and they have no business cutting promos.
Those are the ones that need a Jimmy two times.
They need somebody in their corner who can cut that promo for them. Brock Lesnar's a great worker, but he's always had a manager because he can't talk worth a crap. So there's a lot of guys like that in the indie scene. And one of the things when I had my school is one of the first things we did was teach them to cut a promo. Before you took your first bump, you had to learn to cut a promo. You take 10 or 12 bumps, and then you get up and cut another promo winded, because you got to be able to do that on the fly all the time. And that's part of that old school mentality, Scott, that you and I have in common.
Yes, that man. Thank you for answering that. I mean, and telling the hashtag truth, not being scared to tell the truth, because man, I'm telling you, and I want to ask you this, because I want to have a show about this. I want to have a show totally centered around this topic. And for some reason, I've asked a few, and everybody said, "No, I'll comment on there, but I'm not going to come on." What do you think about pain meds in professional or indie wrestling? Because you hear about it. I'm not talking steroids. I'm talking the people who, before they go out for a match, they're popping hydrocodones, oxycodones, they're pills, and then after the match, they're doing it just for and I understand it's a grueling. I understand you're putting your body on the line. But is there a problem? Have you ever seen where it has become a problem, or know somebody? I don't need you naming names, but that is one big subject, because every time I talk to people, especially the older generation, and you watch it all the time on TV, man, all these shows that are coming on about the old WWE stars dying from overdoses, dying from pills, dying from and it's just a big concern of mine, because I know that it's in the indie scene, but nobody wants to talk about it.
Right. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it and be 100% honest with you. I'm a guy who knows a little bit about medicine, and I'll tell you what I know for sure is it is a huge problem in the indie wrestling scene. I've seen too many guys coming in coked up, too many guys coming in high, too many guys coming in with, little pin cushions for their eyes. They can't even see out of them because they're so gone. I won't let those guys in my building. You show up, I don't care if you're the main eventer or you're the curtain jerker or the popcorn match. You're not going to be in my building. It's not going to happen. You're not out there to put yourself over, okay? If you're trying to pop the boys in the back, you're in the wrong place. You're there for the fans. You're there to be you're there to be that heel, to be that baby face. They paid money to watch you entertain them. That's your job. And you're also there to keep yourself and your opponent safe. And if you're high, you're coked up, you're whacked out of your mind, you can't do that. Now, I've actually had guys on my roster that I've taken their stash and flushed it down the toilet and threw their Vicodin out and I've thrown some guys out on their ass too. Wow. It's a huge problem in wrestling, and the reason it's a huge problem in indie wrestling is because number one, these guys think, well, that's what Chris Benoit did, or that's what whoever did, or that's what whoever did, or all these guys that you see, and uh, that's not you. You didn't make it to the WWE, okay? You're going to be a ham and egger in the indies and a mid carder for your entire career, and there's nothing wrong with
Now,
that. Jimmy
now
Two
I have
Times
to
has
say
done more
this. I
jobs
have to say
in
this.
Linda
And
Lovelace.
I'm playing devil's advocate, but you can still continue your answer here. What about somebody, and I have my answer, and I'm going to let you give yours, and this is a fan's answer. There might be somebody who got injured outside of wrestling before they even showed up. They already have a bad back. They already have, a bad knee or whatever, and they're just doing it to get through the match. But me as a fan, if you have to take that hard, if you have to take a narcotic to get through a match, hang it up. I would rather you be healthy, live for your family, find another outlet in wrestling if you want to stay in the business. There's commentary, there's other things you can do, especially if you got a mouth, and a lot of us do. You know what I'm saying? You can change your forte. You don't have to be an in-ring wrestler, but and that's just me. Don't do it if you're doing it outside. Like me, if I was healthy, okay, and you guys know all my medical problems. If it wasn't
Right.
for all, I'm taking some right now. I'm taking hydrocodone right now. Everybody knows it. It's not but trust me, if I had a chance to do something, I'd be off of it in a heartbeat. And that's
Right.
just me, because I don't want it to rule my life. And I don't even take it as prescribed. You can ask my wife. I'm supposed to take it so many times a day. I only take it once a day. I refuse to get hooked on that stuff.
Right.
There's so many horror stories. I grew up, and God rest her soul, I love her. My whole family knows. But alcoholism ran in my family for a little bit, and my mom got the alcoholic bug a little bit, and I know what that does to people. And I won't. I just it's a very concerning topic for me, and I would
Yeah.
love to get a bunch of wrestlers together and really talk about it, because there are some locker rooms and some managers, and I'm not naming names, and I'll never do it, and I'm not saying I've been in those locker rooms, but there's locker rooms out there who don't care. They don't care as long as you're in there making money for them.
Right.
Hey,
You
pop
could
all
show
the
up
pills
drunk.
you
You could
want,
show up
but
high.
pop all the pills you want, be as high as you want, but you better be able to get in your car and at least get out of my parking lot before something happens to you. That's all I
Right.
care about, right?
No, you're exactly right. And there's a lot of promoters out there like that are driven by the almighty dollar. I was never that guy. I always said if I'm doing professional wrestling for a living, I'll quit that day, because then it's not going to be fun anymore. It's got to be fun, or we're not going to do it. So, Scott, I couldn't agree with you more on everything you're saying. Right there. And God, I hate to say that out loud, because that makes me feel like I feel dirty. Even being like Scott Larson, he makes me feel
and
dirty.
guys, if you're out there, if you're a wrestler, or if you're a person out there that's not a wrestler, and I'm taking it too. So don't take it as I'm just saying, don't take it as bad. You're a bad person. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I'm talking about the people who are, popping 5-6 pills just to get in a ring, taking
Right.
5-6 pills after the match just to get home and, be okay. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I know exactly what you're saying. Like I said,
there's a problem there that needs to be addressed, and nobody wants to talk about it. It's faux pas in the wrestling business, man. You bring it up in a locker room, it's like, shut up, Scott, get out.
right. No, you're exactly right. But you're not going to last long doing that. Jimmy Two Times is 60 years old. Everybody knows that. And I was in the ring bumping with you, in fact, 6 months ago in Western North Carolina. I had a great match with the thoroughbred Braden Marshall, had a, good solid match. And then you beat me with a belt, which I haven't forgotten, by the way. And, usually I let Connie beat me with the belt, but not you. So anyway, she pays a little extra for that. Anyway, you tell her I said that. So you're not going to last long, popping pills and doing the drug. This isn't The Wrestler, which came out, I think, 20 years ago this month.
Right.
We're not that guy. That movie's fiction. There's a lot of guys that have lived that lifestyle, but they've also died long before the age that you and I are now, Scott. And you and I are both veterans, both sailors, and we've lived a full life, but neither one of us are ready to give it up
Oh
for that
no,
kind of dream.
that's why
I'm not gonna pop a handful of Vicodin to make $30 a night.
Right. That's why hashtag Truth Geese coming back. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. I promise you guys, I'm not giving up.
The first thing that I was going to ask you when you got on the air was, I thought you were dead. Ain't you dead yet?
Trust me, man. My wife all the time, when I get on her nerves, she's like, ain't you got a hashtag truth to do? I quit doing hashtag truth. No, I'll pay for it. Just go do it.
Yep, absolutely. Good for her. God love her.
You know what you want to do. And I had to call up a couple of people. I've got another guy coming on Wednesday night, man, Tommy Okami, who's been blowing up the scene down here.
Right.
And I can't wait to have him on. And I just want to quickly plug that, guys. Wednesday night, same thing, 7 p.m. I know it's Christmas Eve. If you're with family, watch it later, after the holidays, that's fine. But if you're already done with all your Christmas holiday stuff by the time 7 o'clock rolls around, come see us. I'm going to be interviewing Tommy Okami for a little while, and we're going to have a great time. Now, I've got to put you on the spot, man. A couple more questions before we get out of here. I'm going to put you deadly on the spot. You said you've been in – how long have you been in this business?
32 years this year.
32 years this year. Okay. In 32 years, who is the best independent professional wrestler you've ever seen?
We've already talked about him, Tracy Smothers. Tracy, when he was now this was post Memphis, post ECW. Tracy was on the way down. He was the best technical wrestler I've ever been in the ring with in my entire career. He could wrestle a mop, put the mop over, and people would cheer for the mop. He was that good as a heel. He was I watched him one night. He had gimmick pictures for sale for $1 a piece. And I watched a lady tear one up, and he goes, I bet you won't tear another one up. He made $58 before she got done tearing up his pictures. So he had the perfect mind, the perfect body, the perfect attitude. We worked a show in Bowling Green, Kentucky one night. He and I did a 60-minute Ironman match. And I was not a great wrestler, but I had a good mouth. And he made me look fantastic the whole thing. And then, of course, he poked me in the throat with a pencil and put me over. So, but him and my second, I'm going to give a quick second.
Now, wait a minute. Before you give a second, again, you answered that question.
All right,
now I want to put you deeper on the spot.
Oh.
Of the guys that you trained in your school, who is the number one guy that came out of your school, in your opinion?
Chase Emery. Chase Emery is by far the most talented athlete I've trained in my 30-plus year career. Chase Emery, for those of you who don't know, who haven't read, haven't been keeping up, has just signed with AEW. He is All Elite. If you haven't read that,
I did not know that.
Well, then let me drop some knowledge on you.
Drop the bomb on hashtag Truth, brother. Thank you. Wow.
In January, Chase Emery will be All Elite full contract. Not a dark match guy. He's going to be under full contract with All Elite Wrestling. So Chase Emery, he was a national champion in high school. He was a national champion in college. He went to school. He got his degree. When I first met him, I told his mom, I said, listen, if he doesn't keep his grades up in college, he can't come to the gym and wrestle. I won't train him. And his mom was like, really? I said, exactly. He kept his grades up in college. He is I think he's a high school or middle school teacher and a wrestling coach, and he is going to be the next All Elite wrestler. He's got the body, he's got the mouth, and he didn't have the mouth when he came. He had the skills, but he couldn't run his chops. And he's tuned his body up in the last 18 months to look like, you guys go look him up, Chase Emery, the blue chipper, the rookie, whatever it is he's going by these days. He's one of the best technical professional wrestlers, one of the best looking young kids I've ever trained. That's taking nothing away from Chris Prince or a Braden Marshall or even Nick the Stick. Some of those guys that I trained over the years. I miss old Nick the Stick. But Chase just was on a different level, but he was on a different level day one when he came in. He's by far the best I've ever trained, and you know, I don't know if he tells anybody that I started him off in the business because he finished up with Lodi, but he is by far one of my proudest accomplishments. I taught him to work small and work safe, and he's really taken that to all new heights.
I mean, when you talk about a wrestling body, and a lot of people do, a lot of us old timers, man, you had to have the body to wrestle. You know, nowadays you can be, 50 pounds up to 400 pounds. It don't matter. You get in the ring. But back in the day, you had to have a wrestling body, and he started off. I mean, he wasn't chiseled like he is now, but he had the body. He was big. He was a big. I'm not saying fat, folks. I'm saying he had broad shoulders, and he was And now that you can see he's been in the gym and he's got 6-pack abs, and man, I am so happy for him. Congratulations! I got to put an applause out there. Congratulations, man. You deserve it. And I love that, man. He is now the 4th person that I know and that I've had on my show that has made it to a contract. And I love that.
Yeah,
and that, man, I might have to try to slip into his PMs and see if he can get in here before his contract starts. I'm gonna have to try.
You have to try for sure. Yeah, I don't know where he's at in the process of signing, but I know that I watched a couple of the dark matches that he did with AEW, and there was no doubt he was going to. Of course, he was in there doing jobs, but there was no doubt that what his next step was going to be, and I'm so excited.
I don't know who Jay Winkler is, but he said, "I'm in hell, Jimmy. I'm at the arcade at the mall waiting to meet out-of-town friends. Please drop kick me into oblivion."
Jay Winkler is on YouTube. He has a YouTube channel called Gunther's Garagery.
Okay.
And he's a super nice guy. He was just at my YouTube channel, the Whiskey Gas Garage. We just built a van for a homeless veteran. So yeah, he's one of my guys.
Check that out. You were telling me about that before the show. I will go check that out, man. I'm going to give you a few minutes, Jimmy, to tell the world where you're at and all your shows that you got going on, and be real. I know you're playing your character, but tell them about your podcast and everything, man. The one that you do, the Whiskey Garage one, man, I've been watching. I'm not a car guy at all, other than checking the oil and the few things and maybe the tires. I've learned a lot from watching this man's show. I ain't gonna lie. About old-fashioned cars too, man. That white car, I don't know what it's called.
It's a Hugo.
The Hugo, you did a whole story about going and picking up that Hugo and bringing it back. I was right there. Every time a new video came out, I was right there. You had me so anxious to see that car, and then you told me, "Oh man, I went in and I messed up. I think you messed up one of the what is it? The
wheel?
Something about not the timing chain."
Timing belt, yeah.
Timing belt, yeah.
Broke and then it caught on fire.
Yeah. That on fire. Oh, no.
So, yeah, but no, I have a YouTube channel and a Facebook channel called Whiskey Gas Garage, where we rescue old vehicles. We fix them up, we sell them, and then we donate all the money to the Wounded Warrior Project, which, Scott, I know is a group that's close to your heart as well, being a veteran. And we just did a van in St. Louis with about 6 or 8 other YouTubers. We built it for a handicapped individual there. Right now we're building a Lincoln log cabin luxury limousine. So I have a 30-foot stretch limousine, and on top of it, we're building a 6-foot log cabin that we're going to be taking on the poverty tour. We're going to be giving that car away and then donating all the money to Wounded Warrior Project.
I am going to put the link on my page. If you guys want to know where this is at, I'm going to put the link on my page. If you're a car guy or girl, not going to discriminate.
Absolutely not.
Go check the show out. You guys are going to love it. He does it just like he talks now, like Jimmy Two Times, or what, he's just him on there. And it is great to see. I enjoy it. And I'm not even a car guy, and he had my attention from the beginning. So that'll tell you something, man.
Well, that's because the only reason you know how to check the oil is because I taught your wife how to check the oil. You know what I'm saying? You tell your wife and my kids hello for me.
hey, that is a running joke at my house when people come up to me and go, "Hey, your wife's hot." I'm like, "Hey, kids are a package deal," and I walk away.
There you go. I would let one take over the payments tomorrow. So
Oh my
but
goodness,
that's what I'm doing. I'm living in Colorado now, up in northern Colorado. I am
right.
going to get back occasionally. In fact, I'm coming in to do a show. I think it's at the end of January for
Now,
Ben
are you
Wolf and
talking
See No
music
Evil
or
Wrestling.
wrestling?
Wrestling. I'm coming in to do a show with See No Evil Wrestling at the end of January. Ben
Okay,
Wolf, the promoter there, has invited me to come in to do a
okay.
show, and I like to dust off the boots every now and then. And if we can get Scott Larson out there, maybe there'll be another strap match.
Terry Green said, "I made it." Thank you, Terry Green. 5488.
Terry Green is one of the biggest rednecks from Kentucky that you've ever seen in your life. He is from the backwoods of Kentucky. Do you know how you could pick Terry Green's girlfriend out of a crowd? She's going to have dandruff on her shoes.
Does
If
does
that gives
Terry
you any
does
indication.
okay? Does Terry Green have a car on blocks in his front yard and is still in his backyard?
Absolutely, that's Terry
Then
Green for you.
he's definitely a Kentucky guy.
Yeah. I was just reading that they changed all the football fields in the high schools to AstroTurf in Kentucky to keep the cheerleaders from grazing after the games. That's what I heard, and I believe it's probably true.
Oh
But
my gosh.
down over Kentucky because there ain't a decent place to take a crap.
My gosh, I love it. Okay, we got to talk about one more thing before we get out of here. We're gonna do an hour. It's only 5 minutes, so we're gonna do an hour, brother. That's how much this guy is just so awesome. I don't even feel my back. I'm laughing so hard. But let's get serious, man. Let's get serious. I want to talk to the real man behind. I know Jimmy Two Times, great character, but I want to talk to the real man. Let's talk about your music, man. Let's talk about your tour that you got going on with your groups, your tours you're doing, and what music means to you, brother. Let us have it.
Well, I appreciate that. I grew up at 14 years old. I was playing at the Last Chance Tavern in Richmond, Kentucky, back when the city was wet and the county was dry. The last place you could get alcohol before you went into the county was the Last Chance Tavern. So from the time I was 14, I've been playing country music. Right now I play with the Whiskey Wranglers, and we tour, as you know, we tour nationally all over the United States. We just did the tour out in your area where as much as Jimmy Two Times doesn't like you Western North Carolina people, we did raise a little over $40,000 on that tour, and we gave it to Samaritan's Purse to support the work in Hurricane Helene. So
Okay.
we're a band. We got a tour bus, and we like to drink whiskey and play music. But what it means to me, Scott, is it's one of those activities that you can throw yourself into and just for a minute forget about who you are and all the crap that's going on behind you. And most everybody who knows me and a lot of you on this call know that I'm dealing with a lot of crap going on behind me. My wife is in stage 4 triple negative breast
Oh
cancer and has been
no,
given a pretty rough diagnosis, and we've been plowing ahead with that. So between music and cars and Jimmy Two Times, Scott, when my agent saw your message this morning and immediately reached out to you, number one, I don't have an agent, and number two, I text Scott, kayfabe, kayfabe. Uh, I was thrilled to get the opportunity to get on and
but
and
the man
and
ain't scared of a camera because if you look right behind his head, he's got 2 camera holders right there, just ready to go, boy.
yeah, they call me tripod in high school. I can't tell you why, but that's the reason I keep a couple of tripods behind me.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
That's right. That's right.
All right.
The
Well,
music means a lot. Thanks so much
I
for
know you
asking.
was telling me about the music and all that, and thank you by the way because you came in to play at that wrestling show, and I asked you to play one of my favorite songs, and you guys did it, and I loved it. It was a George Strait song.
Yep.
I think it was Amarillo
By morning.
Morning.
Yeah.
I love that song, and you guys did it, and I really appreciate it. Terry was joking, but he said, playing your music and dating your sister while playing it.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. The trees in Hogback, Kentucky, where I'm from, they don't fork. What I learned early on is if she ain't good enough for her own family, she ain't good enough for mine.
Oh, so Terry Green is part of you guys. And I'm finding out, all seriousness, the guys in our group love you and we'll be there anytime you need us. There
I
you
know
go.
Terry, and I like Terry. And when I was talking earlier about that bottle of Pappy Van Winkle that somebody got me, Terry's the one who bought me that.
Okay, which one's Terry? Because I remember what the group looked like. Which one's Terry?
Terry has always wearing a red fedora. He'll always have a red fedora on, even when he's wrenching underneath
What
cars.
instrument
He's
was he
wearing his
playing?
red fedora. Oh no, Terry was not one of my music guys. He's one of my car
Oh.
guys.
I got you. Okay, gotcha. John Matthews in the house coming in late. He goes,
John,
"Yo,
how you
welcome,
doing,
Terry."
buddy? I haven't talked to John in a while. I'll tell you, always enjoyed John, being in a locker room with John and working on shows with him. Just an attentive, smart, intuitive wrestler. Always enjoyed working with John.
Terry Green said, "Sinister Motorsports."
Yeah, that's his group down there out of Kentucky.
Oh, and I still love this name. I don't care. Toss a coin to your tech guy. So beautiful. Here, as a matter of fact, well, where'd it go? I think my cat took off with it. I had a coin to toss to you, but my cat took off with it.
Well, that's what a pussy will take your money and run off. That's what a pussy cat will do. I said pussy cat. People, this is a family show.
Got you, brother. I got you. If I learned anything about Hogback, all the legends are true.
Yeah, that's true. Hogback, Kentucky. That's where I'm from.
There
Theoretically.
John Matthews said, "Jimmy, we need you to do it again, pal. Glad to see you're doing well, my friend."
Thank you so much, John. If I'm ever down in your area, it would be an honor to step in the ring with you, my friend, and do
There
the
you
job.
go. Here we go. If you're going to use your imagination, there's the thought. There you go, man. Well,
Like I said,
appreciate all you guys coming in. Terry, Toss a Coin, John Matthews, we had in here. Man, we had a lot. Jay Winkler came in to say hi. We had a lot. Joey Godfrey came in. Christian Durham came in. Ben Wolf came in. Robert Brown came in and asked some great questions. Linda Wages was in the house. Brew Capone. I mean, Barry Lee Babb was in the house. We had all kinds of people on here, man. I am so happy that I'm bringing #Truth back, and you guys are back to loving it. And I owe Jimmy 2 times a big thank you, because this was the last.
Of course you do.
Hey, watch it. I still got a belt within arm's reach, brother. I'm just saying.
My back still hurts. Ooh, and that's the hashtag goof.
If you want to talk about cars, you want to talk about music, or you want to talk about wrestling, this guy right here, get him on your podcast if you can, or just get a hold of him and talk, because this man could, just like my dad says about me, this man can talk the ears off brass mule, and he loves doing it, and he loves teaching, man. He loves teaching, as you can see, man. And I'm going to give you the last thing to say, and then I'm going to sign off, Jimmy, man.
You all hang in, hang out, and hang on.
There you go. And that is
the hashtag truth.
Truth.
All right. Thank you so much.
#Truth Podcast. #Truth. Speaking truth. Yeah, we'll never back down. #Truth. Shining light on the underground. #Truth. Uncovering what they don't want to know. #Truth.